Welcome to The Good Pod, where today we're talking Elsbeth, Season 3, Episode 14, Deadutante. I am one of your hosts, Jason Reed. With me, as always, presenting Marissa of the Chicago Barzas, teacher, podcaster, lover of pens. Marissa, you good?
I'm good, Jason. Are you good? Are you good? Are you sure?
Good? Are you okay? Yeah, I'm good. We back, baby. Elsbeth is back. This is the second little mini break we've had to take.
Yeah.
The first one was a big break. This one was a little more of a mini break. But we're back with the Elsbeth of it all. I do wonder if we're going to be uninterrupted for the rest of the season. We have 15, 16, 17, 18, 5 more episodes after this. So hopefully we can get through those uninterrupted without any sports breaks, because I mean, if you recall, the first break was from the Olympics. Now this mini break was for the March Madness. I was like, hopefully no other sports will come and derail us until the season finale. There's another episode of Elsbeth in the books. Let's, before we get into the nitty-gritty of the case, I want to remind you of some free and easy ways that you can support this podcast. You can do that by rating, reviewing, subscribing, wherever it is you are listening and or watching. That really helps us get into the eyes and ears of more people that will be interested in the content like this of Elsbeth, even of The Good Wife. If you're hip to all of our coverage, we do cover The Good Wife over on the sister side of this podcast every week. So we're actually in season 5 of 7 of that show. Then we'll move on to The Good Fights. We still got a ways to go. So rating, reviewing, and subscribing really helps us get more eyes and ears. If you want to just talk to us about the show, give us your comments, give us your feedback, you can always do that at thegoodpodfeedback@gmail.com. Listen, shout out to Erica M.
Yeah.
Who emailed us a while ago. I was like, hey, I know you guys were talking about, Detective Edwards. Where has she been? She's back. She's here. Erica reminded us, hey, the actress that plays Detective Edwards, Michaela Diamond, she's been busy. She's been on Broadway. She is
good for her.
She is a Tony nominee for Best Actress in a Musical and a Tony winner as a Best Musical Producer. She's been developing a new show on Broadway, so she hasn't been around for a while. That's and good. She also reminded us that Detective SpongeBob is also a no, not Detective SpongeBob. Teddy is also a vaunted Broadway performer.
This all tracks given the Kings.
Listen, the Kings love a few things. The Kings love repurposing actors. Almost every actor you ever see on this show is a reuse from The Good Wife. It's just like every time I look up anyone like that is a player on these episodes, they all have one episode credits from The Good Wife. So like always being reused. And then the Kings also love themselves some Broadway performers. So that's a couple things you can really count on the Kings for. Every show, every week is using some of those things. If you also want to help us out, you can do that monetarily by going to buymeacoffee.com/goodpod and donating any sum of money you wish. This is a small business fledgling podcast. So donations really help us in the running of this thing. So that would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, and I'll just throw like a little vulnerability moment here. Like I have been laid off since August of 2024, and if you have noticed, maybe some of the editing quality has not been so great in a couple of episodes. That is mainly due to the fact that I don't have access to the resources that I had before when I had, a job. So if you would like to donate to the pot to help us get back on track where we can edit things and be in a way that is more comforting to your ears and maybe allow us to do better things, buying us a coffee or two would be very helpful to help get us back on track. Right now it's a very manual process and I'm having to like relearn a lot of things, which I don't mind doing. It's just so you know, if you're like, why hasn't Marissa posted this podcast? Well, it's just taken me a little bit longer than it used to. So that's a little peek behind the curtain in terms of what we're looking for support for when it comes to this podcast.
And Marissa does all the technical producing because Jason don't know nothing about computers. If you had a peek into our pre-show process, you would know Jason knows nothing about computers.
Jason, they just have to. It is plugged in, right? Like your computer is plugged in.
Right now, it's plugged in.
Okay.
I tried it. Like, listen, because here's my process. Right, I'm in my basement when I podcast. Like this is where my podcast studio / dungeon is. So every time I take notes in the living room because that's where the good nice big TV is. So I take my notes in the living room with my computer, not plugged in to the power source because I can do that. But the problem is I bring it back downstairs to the podcast, and sometimes I forget to replug it back in. And let me just say, some of the editing prowess of Marissa, you would never know that sometimes in the middle of our episodes, my computer just dies, and we've got to figure that out. So yeah, Jason is not good with computer stuff. That's why Marissa does all the technical producing on this show.
Jason has his own value. We're definitely much a team. It's just that I have this set of skills in which I can help with the pod.
I have a particular set of skills.
Exactly.
Okay, so with all that out of the way, let's get into the case this time around.
The murder.
This time delving into the world of debutante balls.
Do we think
we're maybe running out? Do we think we're running out of industries to like really get into? Because like debutante balls now, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I know they were a very big thing in The Summer I Turned Pretty, if you watch those things, but I don't really know like how big debutante balls are. Do you have any exposure to this world, Jason? Do you have any like?
No, I mean I've heard of the concept of a debutante ball. They used to be plot devices in sitcoms in like the 90s. Like there would be some shows that had debutante balls. I'm sure the Gilmore Girls, which you're obsessed with, had some type of debutante ball set up. So that's really my like breadth of knowledge of debutante balls. I've also heard of it's also mentioned in this episode, cotillions is a thing I've heard of.
Yes, it's definitely like the patriarchal practice of letting people know that a woman or a child is ready to become a woman in this world. It's not great. In Mexican culture, it's known as quinceañera. When you turn 15, that's the time. Get out there, get yourself a husband, get on the market. And as a half Mexican woman myself, I was offered a quinceañera and I said no, thank you.
Yeah, I would like that. It's a little bit like the debutante ball is a little bit of a creepy practice because it's just like, hey, here's my daughter, guys, come get her. Like, oh, that's weird and odd.
Yeah.
I think they've tried to tamp down on that and probably encourage debutante culture. I hope.
I hope. Yeah. And I mean, there are other things tied into like the quinceañera celebrations and everything like that, but it's still very much, at least in certain pockets of the world, a thing that happens, but not like this. Like this debutante ball is fancy schmancy. We've got, tablecloths with wrinkles in them.
Yes.
Things that are not, something that would show up at the 71st Annual Empire Debutante Ball. At the beginning of this episode, we are introduced to Lizzie Langford, who is nitpicking the situation, saying it's not to her liking. And it took me a while, Jason, to really kind of place who Izzy was being played by.
I'm glad you could, because I was like, I don't know who the heck this person is. Again, going back to my fallback statement of like, I think we might be running out of guest stars, but apparently this person is someone notable according to you, because you watch this show that she is probably most famous for.
Very big in white culture.
Oh, snap! That's true. J. Smith Cameron is who plays Izzy, and she is from the TV show Succession, which I know I'm told 1,000 times I should have watched Succession. I should be catching up on Succession. I should rewatch the series. And I know it's on the list, but the list is huge. Okay, I had a whole month off work, and Succession still didn't come close to getting watched. So the list is huge, y'all. So yeah, Jason Cameron from Succession is who plays Izzy, who is a very like listen, we met this type of murderer a lot of times before. Very type A, nitpicky, Karen-y type of character that we have here,
and also has some sort of personal vendetta against whomever the victim is. And in this case, that victim ends up being Sterling Brown, not Sterling K. Brown or Barlow, but Sterling Barlow, who comes up and basically tells Izzy, look, my daughter needs to be in this debutante ball next year. And Izzy is like the person to kind of put this whole thing together, and she's like, this is the best in the world. I don't know if your daughter really belongs here, like, and I also don't know if you have enough money to kind of make this happen.
Yeah, yeah, because we love the Kings and they're like jump cut transitions. She's like, and in my world, money can't buy everything. Douche. 1 year and $2 million donation later, like, oh, I guess it can. I guess money does buy stuff in your world. There, Izzy.
Yeah. So a year after that first conversation with Sterling, we are now at the 72nd Annual Empire City Debutante Ball. They could come up with a better name for this. Like, it's a little hard to say. And
the AECDs.
I don't know if we need to put the annual. We could just call it the Empire City Debutante Ball. Like, I think the annual is really kind of tripping me up. But here we do see that Plum Barlow is in attendance, which means Sterling, did his time. He paid his money. He's very happy that Plum, first of all, named her daughter Plum, is there, but is not too happy with who Plum is being escorted by, because this is the whole other part of the politics, is who is going to escort whom in this debutante ball. And Plum is paired with Brando, who has a sword but doesn't really know how to use it.
Yes, exactly.
Because you need a sword in 2026.
I thought it was going to come into play how clumsy he was with the sword, because he's like fumbling the sword at the beginning. It's like, because as you'll tell us later, like the sword is used in the murder. So it's like, how could this guy use this sword like this? Because he's pretty clumsy with it.
Yeah, and Brando, like, at first Izzy's like, well, Brando's like, in with the in crowd. His dad's the movie star. Like, this is good for Plum. Like, this is a good placement for her. And Izzy decides, I'm going to offer to take a picture of Plum and Plum's mom using mom's phone. And we see some like enter of a phone number, something, and then a delete thing. Talking about being tech savvy, and I know I am still a green bubble and will always be a green bubble. So like iOS isn't my native language. But I could not tell what she was doing really at this point, other than she was texting someone and she didn't want that person to know. But she was taking forever. She was like, I need to find the best filter. Text.
Yep. She's like, hey, look at her hair while I do stuff on your phone.
Yeah, and it seems as though, like, if she was coming to this moment with that plan, she's been thinking about this for like a year in terms of how everything was going to come together.
Yeah.
So the text was sent from Plum's mom's phone to Brando saying, hey, like, meet me downstairs later, or meet me in the basement, something like that, like having some sort of rendezvous she was trying to set up.
I felt like this, with the phone stuff, was one of the first major blunders of Izzy's plan.
Agreed.
Because why in the world would you do this from someone's phone that's like, associated with the victim? Doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, and I don't know, like,
especially if you're not going to sign it as Gwen, right? Like,
right.
Brando didn't know it was from Gwen's phone. Like, it was still a random
and also
number.
Brando, do not go places with you don't know the person and then take off all your clothes. Like, Brando, come on now.
It's called stranger danger, Brando. We don't go meeting with strangers. But yeah, like, why would you text that from Gwen's? Like, I would understand if, like, Brando, if she signed it Gwen, right? Like, that would be also weird, but like, it didn't make sense to me why she did it from someone.
She signed it. What? It was just hot mom.
Yeah, I was like, okay, weird. So why would you grab someone else's phone that's just not associated with this at all? But it was weird to me. I was like, okay.
Yeah, and also, like, it doesn't take that long to find a filter on a photo, and also these people are rich, so they probably could have retouched a photo. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like the whole excuse of trying to find a filter was a little fumbly for me as well.
I mean, we're going to look into Brando's communications, so we're going to find
right
who sent this text. It's like, why would you lead them right to Gwen? to talk more with Gwen and find out more information from Gwen. That was big blunder number one for Izzy.
And also, like, the only other thing, like, she wrote the text from Gwen's phone and then deleted it right away. So, like, when you go talk to Gwen, like, Gwen doesn't really have anything that would really implicate her, even, you know what I mean? Like, even if she had left the text there or had some other, like, a response from Brando or something, that would have maybe solidified it a little bit more for Gwen.
And yeah, it would have made more sense to say Gwen and Brando were having an affair.
Right.
So Sterling confronted Brando for having an affair with Gwen, and they struggled, and Brando killed him with the sword.
Get Brando's phone and have Brando text Gwen instead of Gwen text Brando.
Yeah, something, but like I would understand if you wanted to implicate people in this murder to make the story more believable. Okay, like you could say, yeah, Brando and Gwen were banging, so Sterling confronted Brando, and Brando ended up killing him in self-defense. Like, that would be a more believable story than like Sterling didn't like Brando, so because he came from New Money. Like, okay, not believable. And that would make sense why you were using Gwen's phone to send the communication, right? Like, you pick up what I'm putting down.
Yeah. At this point, Izzy gets a hold of some gloves that will come into play later and talks to Sterling. And he's like, hey, your first wife is here. Or no, at first she says, your wife is here. And Sterling's like, my first wife? Yeah, Gwen, his current wife? No, your first wife. And this is kind of like something that gets Sterling's like alarm bells going off. He's like, oh, this is bad. Like, this is not good.
Yeah, and that also made no sense, because it's like, why would Sterling's first wife be here? Like, I don't know. That confused me.
Even Sterling was like, what? Why?
But he was like, in Izzy tells him, like, she wants you to meet her in this and such room. He's like, okay, well, tell my wife. Actually, don't tell my wife. Like, was he planning on going and having an encounter with his first wife? I was like, okay. And just it's such an implausible thing to make up. Sterling bought it, but it's like, okay, that's weird.
Yeah, because the mission here was to get Sterling to go into this room. So it was like, hey, your first wife is over in this room over here, and that was enough, I guess, to get him to
and to go back to the glove of it all. This also, I was like, what's happening? Izzy grabs some, like, has the gloves from one of the other debutantes. Yeah, big white gloves. She puts some lipstick on the glove. She's like, oh my gosh, your glove is so dirty. Let me wash it for you, and then I'll give you a new pair of gloves. You know, it's only your gloves from your Aunt Jackie. Let me go clean them up and give you new gloves. It's like, okay, cool. That will definitely come into play later. But it's just like, okay, you got these gloves for what reason? We find out what reason, but also the reason doesn't make sense as well. So yeah, Izzy has had a whole year to plan this. You can tell she planned this down to a T. Like, when it was first going down, I was like, oh wow, this is actually a pretty decent plan that our murderer has. But as I thought more about it, I was like, none of this makes any sense. This is a bad plan.
It was really kind of clumsy. It really it wasn't well thought out. It was successful, but it just has its moments. At this point, Brando is in the room waiting for Hot Mom to come down, and he takes a selfie and tries to send it to Hot Mom, but it doesn't get delivered. So Izzy is doing her best to replace the gloves that she took from the debutante that you mentioned, Jason. And at this moment, she then has the sword, Brando's sword, and confronts Sterling with the glove and the sword. I guess, like, the thinking here is to frame the debutante because it's her gloves with the I don't know.
That was the case. I think she took these gloves for no reason. She literally could have gotten like some latex gloves from anywhere, have in her pocket.
She didn't need
something else, anything else. Like, anything else. I don't know why she had to steal a debutante's gloves to get this done. She could have done this in 1,000 other ways. I'm not sure why the gloves were really necessary here.
And of all of the, like, if you have a year to plan this, is a sword being the murder weapon the easiest thing to like really put together here? Because she's standing there with the glove, with the sword in her hand, and she confronts Sterling and says, you destroyed my debut way back when. You humiliated me. now you're forcing my hand here. Like, I have to do this. And Sterling then recognizes Izzy as who he calls half off. And this is enough for her to just like take the sword and like literally just like perfectly aim at his heart and stab him. And then she burns the gloves and replaces the sword. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe she took a lot of classes with fencing classes or something, but a sword is not exactly like the easiest murder weapon to manipulate in this situation.
I mean, we've seen like a million other weapons covering the show. So it's just like you could have done a lot of other things. But hey, I guess the sword is quick and efficient. So she decided to go that way. How she perfectly targeted the heart, I don't know.
It was like literally like right there. Like right there. Like, and the man was like dead on impact. Like there was no anything like that. So I don't know. Maybe she did take classes. Or at least studied a lot in the last year. At this point, Plum notices that Brando and her father have gone missing right before the presentations, which is part of the whole gig. Brando does come back, though, and then Plum does win Debutante of the Year, and she has to use a sword to stab a cake because we must have swords.
Yeah, so I don't know why the sword was needed to stab the cake. I don't know what tradition that signifies, or that was okay, cool.
And right as she's doing this, Plum's mom, Gwen, finds that Sterling is dead and announces it to the ball. And there's like red on the sword, which gets, I think it was Izzy to say that's not red velvet cake or something.
Yeah, Izzy, who has been like practicing this line for a year now. Is just like, that's not red velvet on that sword. It's like, okay, is he a little too over dramatic? Like she was waiting for this moment to be the one to discover the blood on the sword to perfectly frame Brando in this moment.
So that was like the murder part, and as we've talked about, at least the season, that section of the television episode is a little bit longer than usual. So that took us about a third of the way in.
Then we get to the Elsbeth portion where Elsbeth Tassioni solves murders in 30 minutes or less.
Pretty much. But she has help. She has help this episode.
Well, I definitely noticed the time, like, and when Elsbeth comes into the proceedings, it's like, oh, it's like 30 minutes left in the episode, like, with no commercials, of course. It was like, Elsbeth Tassioni solving crimes in 30 minutes. Like, love that.
Or your money back.
Or your money back, or the murder is free, or the murderer is free, which will never happen.
So we're teamed up here with Detective Basketball.
Yeah,
so good to see Mina Taylor is back on the screen, and I don't know. Elsbeth walks into this and she is like very confused, and I would be too, like, because this is such like I don't want to say outdated. I don't want to really like. If anyone in this world, if anyone listening has like experience with debutanting, I'd love to hear from you. But all of these women are dressed up, like all of these girls are dressed in white, and they're like walking around with men in tuxedos. So Elsbeth's thinking this is like a mass wedding of some sort.
I thought this is like a lot of child bride weddings. I don't know what was going on.
Yeah. I mean, and her, zeitgeist around girls and men, like it's just a little weird. At this point, Izzy comes up and introduces herself and tells them about what happened with the cake cutting.
About the discovery, the cake cutting, like, and there was blood on the sword, and everyone else thought it was red velvet.
And Elsbeth's like, your eyes have to be like pretty good to know that was blood and not red velvet, especially like Izzy is not a young whippersnapper. Like she's been doing this, for a long time. And Izzy turns and puts the blame on Brando, saying it was because Sterling was not happy that Brando was the escort for Plum.
Yeah, blunder number like 3 or 4 for Izzy of immediately coming into the scene and be like, it was that person. Definitely wasn't me. It was definitely that person.
Do you think that's because people in a certain area of society think that they can't be touched? Like no one's going to find their mistakes. No one's going to see through them and everything.
I think that's the prevailing theory of most of the murders that we get on Elsbeth, because I would probably say, like, just throwing out a number, I would probably say like 83% of the murderers on Elsbeth come from the upper crust of society. And I think, like, inherently they think they are smarter than others, and they think that no one's going to be able to see through anything they do. I think if we were to talk to the Kings, which we hope to one day,
Yes.
they might confirm that that's a reason they cast a lot of these type of characters as the murderers, because they think they're untouchable when they're really not.
It's like they took the Colin Sweeney archetype and just like made it 2026 CBS palatable.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. So then we get this really funny moment because the girl's name is Plum. And Elsbeth is like, where are the plums?
Well, why are you referencing plums here? I don't understand what plums have to do with the murder. It's like, okay, that was good. That was a good one.
At this point, we're introduced to, well, Elsbeth is introduced to Jules, Izzy's assistant, who has, and you always know when there's like a murder and the assistant's going to be key in our whole thing here.
Because Izzy's like, I don't have time for this. Talk to my assistant. Bye.
Yeah.
Okay. That wasn't weird.
She comes in and she fills Elsbeth in and Taylor in on some of the details. Jules says that, I don't know why Izzy told you Sterling was mad. He couldn't escort Plum. He didn't really care that much about this whole thing. Like, he just wanted to get Plum into the thing. He didn't really care about his interaction.
I mean, what we hear later is basically Gwen made him get Plum into the ball. He didn't really care too much about the whole like debutante of it all, because I mean, Izzy's out here talking about, oh yeah, Sterling really wanted to be Plum's escort, but I say traditions are traditions and dads can't be escorts. And like, blunder number 5, coming up with this like really dumb lie that's easily provable, easily disprovable, I should say. Like that's what a lot of our murderers do. Like, I'm going to give you some BS story that anyone that is around me in my orbit will tell you is not true. It's like, Jules like, yeah, the dad didn't give one crap about being Plum's escort. You didn't care that much. It's like, okay, well, that's like, after that, Izzy is like, Elsbeth is like, okay, zeroing in on Izzy because she's telling dumb lies. She's throwing people right under the bus. As soon as we get here, boom, that's my suspect right there, and more than likely the person that did it. Like, Elsbeth, like, I think we commented like one of the other episodes is like, okay, it took a little longer for Elsbeth to get the prime suspect. This was like, boom, automatic. You're my suspect. Let's go. Let's find out how you did this.
Yeah, and I think it makes a difference because for a couple of episodes this season, like, Elsbeth wasn't in the crime scene right away, but like if she's at a crime scene, she's really able to like lock in and say it's this person. So even though Brando is in holding, she's locked in on Izzy, and Brando explains that there were a lot of powerful people, New York City people at the ball, and we do hear Taylor say like, this is not for me. Like, and I don't blame her because I could not go through with it myself.
Yeah, Detective Taylor is not for this high society bullshit. She's like, this is not my world. I don't love it. I hate the patriarchy of it. I hate the hidey tidiness of it all. Not my jam.
Not my jam. I was trying to make jam into blood, but that didn't really make sense. Like jam. I
mean, how to explain
like,
it does.
Like blood. I know, but I couldn't really do it very gracefully. Anywho,
the best jokes are the ones you have to explain.
Yes, that's my next podcast. Jokes I have to explain with Marissa Garza. Okay, so Brando's prints are on the sword, and his blood is on Sterling's blood is on the sword. So even though in classic Elsbeth, even though there's evidence pointing to one person, she's very locked in that this is Izzy. They question Brando, who proclaims his innocence, and then they're like, well, then what happened? Like, how did this happen? And Brando eventually tells them about leaving the sword outside the hotel room. Vulnerability here. And then they do check his text messages, but they don't check the photos. But also,
because Brando's like, go ahead, check my text messages, but not my photos. Like, do not go in the photos. Check
not the first time he has sent a photo.
It's just like when you show your friends a photograph, like, go ahead, swipe like 3 over, do not swipe 4 over. Like, You can swipe 3, but you gotta get the phone back then. Do not swipe more. Neither of us will enjoy if you swipe more than four times. Okay,
It'll ruin it. It'll ruin us forever. Like you'll never see me in the same light. So they're walking away from this, asking themselves, like, who is Hot Mama? Because of the text message that was on his phone. So they go and confront Gwen, basically with the premise of like, you were gonna cheat on your husband with Brando, and she's like, do you know how much money I would lose if I did that? So,
well,
and he's in town, so no.
Yeah. She goes, why would I cheat on him when he was in town? Like, why would I do? Like, he has to be away from like the state for me to cheat on him, because I don't want to get caught. Like, the best way for me not to get caught is when he leaves town. I would never cheat on him when he was in town. That's dumb. That's the more likely that I get caught. Then, you idiots. Like, not that I would never cheat on my husband. I would never cheat on my husband when he's in town.
Like not now. Like, the circumstances are not good. And so they do check her phone as well. They do not see the messages. And she also is like, do not look at my photos.
It was so funny because it's like the exact same word. They're like, check my messages, but not my photos. Do not check my photos. And she's like, why would Brando want to see me? Does he want to see me though?
Yeah, it was funny.
Like, keep in mind, this woman's husband was just murdered viciously at her daughter's debutante ball. She's like, I mean, but I would take some consoling for Brando if he's offering.
I just started watching Your Friends and Neighbors on Apple TV, and it has it's reminding me of that because of like sometimes women have to marry men to get closer to power and money, and if they lose it, it's not, like
this Elsbeth episode was chock full of them.
Yeah, exactly. So the message is nowhere on the phone, but like Detective, what's her name? Detective Basketball is like, well, you could have deleted it, but also like, spoiler alert, Detective Basketball, you could contact the phone company and nothing you delete is really ever deleted. Exactly. I don't really know why that was like a stopping point, but she does say that Izzy used her phone for this picture, and Gwen is like blaming herself for this because she tried to get Plum into the ball and she made Sterling do all of this stuff. And then she calls Plum over and is like, hey, can you provide me with an alibi?
Plum, honey, come give mommy an alibi.
Yeah, I was like, okay. And Plum is like, yeah, she was always by my side, and my dad's only beef with Brando was that he was new money. But she also does admit that she didn't pick Brando as the escort. Izzy did.
Dun, dun, dun. This whole episode really gave me reminders of the Gilded Age. Like, what was it called in Gilded Age when they had oh my gosh, I'm blanking on names. The daughter that they married off. They presented her. I forgot what it was called. They had some kind of portrait painted. That was like that was kind of her debutante ball. And also, with the talk of new money versus old money, I was like, okay, like this is really giving some Gilded Age now.
Well, yeah, and I think that's the thing that's really interesting is that like that sector of society has really, really held on to this divide where the rest of us are just like, we're just trying to make it. You know what I mean?
I take any money, old money, new money, used money, whatever money you got, I'll take it.
I love it. Gladys Russell.
Gladys,
yeah. Gladys is big time. They are filming in New York right now, so we should be back on Gilded Age coverage soon.
Can't wait to get back on the Gilded Age corner. Let's go.
Yes. Okay, so Elsbeth and Taylor go talk to Jules, the assistant, and she's perplexed as to why Izzy even let Plum come into the ball. Izzy always used to refuse to let Plum join in the past. This is probably given the history between Izzy and Sterling. And she also mentions this is the first time swords were allowed back in the ball in decades.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, it does seem kind of weird.
It's like someone gets impaled with a sword. The first time the swords are let back in, and Izzy is the coordinator of the ball.
Yeah.
Something in the back of my brain is telling me that's weird for some reason. I don't know.
And it, as if on cue, because it really was on cue, Izzy pops up and tries to say like this, we wanted to go back to tradition. Like this is, we're trying to, go back to our roots. She tries to kind of distract Elsbeth and Taylor with these tiaras like, which is very like Elsbeth loves a hat.
It's as if she knew Elsbeth. She's like, okay, Elsbeth, let me distract you with some nice shiny things. But little does she know that even distracted Elsbeth is a smart Elsbeth and is always watching and always keep an eye out on you. Especially since like she is zeroed in on Izzy. He's like, yes, you can distract me for a second with some shiny tiaras. Like we don't even see the moment where Elsa puts on the tiara. She's just in the room with the tiara on, like, the first thing she did when she walked, like, can I put this on? Ooh. And like something on her head.
Things. Like she's always going to be questioning. So she asks Izzy, like, how did Sterling end up in the suite that he was in when he was killed? And Izzy's like, I don't have any idea. But she is really pushing this Brando thing. Like, poor Brando. Like, this poor kid. Elsbeth confronts Izzy about letting Plum into the ball and using Gwen's phone. And Elsbeth deducts that Sterling had been at the ball in the past. And Izzy shows her a picture of her. And Sterling, in what year, Jason? The best year, 1982.
I wonder what happened in 1982 to make you say it was the best year. Maybe some geniuses were born, some great people of history were born. I don't know. Maybe. But yeah, because I mean, like, it was good deducting on Elsbeth's part to be like, Sterling had told Jules that he didn't remember there was a debutante of the year, which means he had been at a ball in the past. So that makes me think he'd been involved at a ball in his youth. Like, okay, good deducting, Elsbeth. Good job.
Yeah, like you said, like she can be attracted to shiny things, but her brain's always going to be going. And then Taylor says, again, in one of the, every now and then in one of these episodes, we get just a line that we want to make sure that everybody hears. And in this one, she says, nepotism makes the world go round, or maybe makes it lopsided.
Yeah, good job, Taylor. I'm liking you more and more, Detective Taylor.
Yeah. And so they're questioning, like, why pair Plum with Brando if Sterling is so against new money? Like, this is a little weird. And Izzy says, it's obvious. They both speak English, they watch movies, and have good height. So, yeah, that's it. Like, they're compatible.
It's like, if you were planning this whole thing, you maybe should have anticipated this question and come up with a better, because it's like they really caught her off guard. She's like, they are both people and they're both of the humanoid species. So perfect, right? Makes sense to me. Stop asking me questions.
Alive right now. Yeah. So that was a little sus. And then we do find out that Sterling was the escort for his first wife, Paulina, which is who Izzy was trying to use to lure Sterling down into the suite that he was in. And we learned that Paulina and Sterling were still in touch. And Izzy does not like this.
She's like, didn't see that coming.
No, gotta go. So at the precinct, they go and they talk to Paulina. Obviously, Sterling was the terrible husband if he couldn't remember which wife was around when he was there. Sterling called Paulina right before his death and left a voicemail asking why she was at the ball and where was she, like trying to meet up with her.
Izzy, girl, come on, like you could have used, I mean, retroactively blunder number like 2, because like you could have done so much to get Sterling where you needed him to go. Why would you tell him his first wife was there, which may trigger him into being like, why the hell is she here? Which might trigger him to call her and be like, why the hell are you here? Like, what are you talking about? Like,
you could have said like Plum needs something downstairs. Like it was so much easier than having to do all of this other stuff. Paulina's like, I would not be caught dead at that ball ever again. And it turns out that Sterling was Paulina's escort in what year? 1982. And Paulina talks about the ball, and a woman was sent home crying that night because she was not the debutante of the year. Overall, Paulina is just as terrible as we thought. She, at least how I thought she was. Like, she's just not gonna be. She's gonna be a Paulina.
She's like making light of the fact that Sterling is dead. She's like, oh, so glad he's gone. So glad he's dead. Like, okay, Paulina, you get on you, get going. And like Wagner's like, oh my god, she is so terrible.
That was a good one. Elsbeth clocks Izzy being so like fuss around this whole subject, and she knows Sterling better than she's saying. Like Izzy knows Sterling better than Izzy is telling us at this point. And then I hated this. I hated this so much. I hated this with the burning of 1,000 suns. We just get a coroner's report.
Stop the Kaya erasure. Like remember Cameron used to deliver us the coroner's reports? Yes. Like, hey, here's the coroner report. Like, you're just getting rid of all of Kaya and everything attached to Kaya. We are not going to stand for it anymore.
I am so like, I was like, where's Cameron? What's going on?
I did see in some press that there was a rap party for Elsbeth season 3, and Cara Patterson was at the rap party. So it's like, okay, I mean, it feels like
an episode or two.
It feels like, you know, the relationship is still good. So I'm just hoping that before the season's over, we get another Kaya appearance, then to confirm that she's okay or that we have to rescue her and something. It just please bring her back to our screens.
Yes. Elsbeth goes back to visit Izzy with a copy of Dress Up magazine from the year in question. I won't keep saying it. You guys know it. It's the best year ever. It was also the year Epcot opened. So, like, come on. Elsbeth wonders to Izzy why Paulina would call Sterling that night, unless someone convinced him she was there. Like, this is so easy. Like, Elsbeth could solve this in her sleep. Mm-hmm. So Elsbeth gets her husband to kind of scoot Elsbeth out of the door, and he is like, I don't want to say my people, but kind of, I'm not a trained person, but I am a collector of things, specifically pens. And so I get it when someone like shows some interest in your collection. This guy's a model train guy, and he's got everything. He's got the hats, he's got the whistles, he's got everything.
Yeah, I mean, model trains is very much a rich guy hobby and activity. Like, in between CEO meetings, this guy does nothing but put together trains and watches it go around a track, because this guy is apparently like a railroad magnate or whatever. His family is rich off railroads, and you know, so that's his big thing. He loves to watch the trains go round and round the circle,
like old money, the railroad. You know,
exactly.
Yeah. So Elsbeth, of course, is like in on this. Like,
trains. Let me see the trains. It's like, and you know, Elsbeth is definitely doing her Elsbeth thing of like, oh, let me pretend to have some interest in what you're interested in, so that I can pump you for questions, for information.
Yes. Yeah. She gets him to talk about Izzy and all the work she puts into these debutante balls. He knows that people think that Izzy married him for his money, and he admits that they wouldn't be together if it wasn't for her dad's untimely death. He also helped pick up the pieces after Izzy was humiliated from the 1982 ball, and this is why Izzy is so devoted to the ball now. So we get some more context as to why Izzy cares so much about this.
Yeah, Elsbeth kind of connects the pieces of like, Paulina talked about somebody being crying, walking away from the ball crying, and now he's telling me that Izzy walked away crying from this, was humiliated at this ball. It's all connecting. The dots started to connect now.
It could be Izzy who was crying.
No.
And she pops up again. It's almost like Beetlejuice. Like, if you say Izzy like a couple of times, she's gonna pop up. And she says she like tripped during the waltz, and that's why she was humiliated. It wasn't anything else. That's why she was crying. And before she leaves, Elsbeth tells Izzy about Brando's new selfie, time stamped at the time of Sterling's murder. So it could be Brando, because
could be.
Brando was nude and taking this picture at this time.
Unless Brando killed Sterling with another type of sword, it wasn't Brando.
Jason, have you been reading Romantasy? What's going on? At this point, she also tells Izzy like the height, the angle of the wound means that someone had to be much shorter than Sterling or much shorter than Brando to have struck Sterling in the way that he was struck down dead. So at this point, she's like, Izzy, I know you're pushing this Brando thing, but it's not happening.
Elsbeth goes, someone had to be much shorter, and like goes over and stands next to Izzy, like so much shorter, like you're shorter. It's had to be someone maybe about this height, like goes down to Izzy's height, like to have murdered Sterling. So again, it's like Elsbeth like, girl, I know it's you.
Like, there's nothing you can tell. Like, I'm gonna get you one way or another. Taylor at this point has dirt on Izzy. She says that her dad died in a car accident the day after. Man, the best year for me, not the best year for Izzy.
It's bad year for Izzy. She she hates the year that you were born. She curses you for being born in 1982.
At this point, this is like all still very suspicious. And we do also learn that Izzy has a hidden sister, Raina, but that is a stepsister, not a sister. So this is like in this world of old money and all of this stuff. Like, we know that like having a sister outside of the marriage or like from another marriage or something like that, these would all be things that would not look good on the reputation of Izzy.
Yeah, Izzy and Raina could not be further apart. We meet Raina and she's like a nurse at a hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She does tell us that once upon a time, Izzy stole their dad's credit card to buy the debutante dress and planned to return the dress, but someone saw the tag on the dress. This is just like trauma for rich people. And
or people also, pretending to be rich.
Yeah. Cut the strap on the dress, making the dress fall. Ready for it? Half off.
Oh my God, that word was used by the victim. Oh my gosh, I think it's Izzy, guys. I think Izzy's the one. I think Izzy is half off. Oh my gosh.
And they confirmed that it was Sterling that had cut one of the straps, and then her father died on the way to return the dress. So this is all coming full circle. At this point, Elsbeth runs to tell Wagner about the new motive that we...
Well, it's funny because, they talk about the straps, and Elsbeth's like, the straps. We still haven't set up our Eureka moment music.
Oh, yeah.
That's Eureka. And like, oh my God, it's hit me. Ding, light bulb goes off. Eureka moment.
Yeah, that was it. But like sometimes the Eureka moments are like, I don't know where you got this from, Elsbeth. This one was pretty straightforward. This one was like, oh, the straps. Okay.
But we didn't end on someone talking about the straps and else we've been like the straps. It's like they said it's the straps and like dad died on the way to return the dress. It's as if Elsbeth didn't even hear that last line. She's just like, oh yeah, the straps. Like, were you listening to what I just said? No, I was 2 sentences ago. I was thinking, I was processing. What was it about your dad? Sorry.
So at this straps. Stop thinking about straps. Elsbeth runs into Wagner's office, tells him about this new motive, but at this time, Izzy's also in his office demanding that Elsbeth gets arrested. And because she's claiming that Elsbeth stole some gloves from Izzy's house, and Elsbeth, as we know, this is Elsbeth core to the max. Elsbeth prefers mittens, not gloves. Okay. Elsbeth reveals what Raina told her about the ball, and Izzy is playing dumb at this point. Izzy says that without that moment, she would never have met her husband. So what Sterling did was a good thing. Try to rationalize it away as much as you can, as this being part of the motive in terms of why you wanted to kill this man. But Izzy says there's no way I could have been running the ball and murdering someone.
Yeah, she's like, the ball went off so well because I was working so hard and no way I could have done both things at the same time.
And she's really like, you really stole these gloves, Elsbeth. Like, she's really kind of about these gloves.
And again, this was such a why is this your play right now? Why are you accusing a New York City, might as well call her a detective at this point. Why are you accusing a detective of just running around and stealing your gloves? Why would you call so much attention to these gloves? Like this is getting you in trouble. Why you like, it was such a bad idea. Like, huge blunder, numbers like 8 for Izzy in this moment.
Do we feel sorry for Izzy because she hasn't lived enough life to know that these are really dumb mistakes?
I don't know. I'm just like, girl, you really gotta be better at this.
Yeah. At this point, we're questioning Jules again. Izzy says that the ball went off without a hitch, but there are 2 mistakes: the gloves and the missing title of one of the people was announced wrong. So Jules is kind of letting Elsbeth know that this is, kind of what's the aftermath of the ball.
Well, Jules is like, yeah, Jules is like, actually, the big title mistake was my mistake because of something going wrong. Like she didn't understand the knighting of people and what makes who a sir and what doesn't make who a sir. And so she points out the fact that, hey, I tried to at the last minute give Izzy like a card to change the name that Izzy would announce in the presentation, but for whatever reason, Izzy didn't get the card. So it's like, what was Izzy doing that she could not, that she wasn't around to receive this name change?
Well, she was dealing with the gloves, Jason. That's what she was doing. The gloves were on fire, and so was the card.
Yeah, and like Jules was like, hey, I had to throw the card into the fire because at that point I didn't want Izzy to know that I knew about the mistake and didn't correct it in time, so I had to burn the card. And they're like, burn the card, aka fire. Maybe we should look into fire. Maybe something's going on with fire. Yeah.
Places with the fire. Izzy is back at the hotel where the ball was held, and Elsbeth was called there by Elsbeth, who told them they found the missing gloves. So
which Izzy.
I'm telling you, she's such a sheltered person. She doesn't know.
Izzy, you knew you had to know this was a trap. This was a setup. You burned the gloves. There's no way they could have found the missing gloves because you burned them. So like you had to know this was a trap. Like, why would you come here? Like, actually, you should be like, actually, Elsbeth, you know what? Gloves are not important. Never mind. I'm good. If you're gonna arrest me, you gotta come get me. I'm not coming to you for you to arrest me and do some stupid little show that you're gonna put on about arresting me.
Well, and okay, Jason, what do we think about this reveal? Because we are now in reveal territory in our episode, and Elsbeth is all in per usual in this.
Boy, I would be so insulted and upset. Like, I know I have no right to be insulted and upset if I'm a murderer, but I would be so like, you're handing me one of the worst moments of my life, and you are having fun. You are like planning some show, planning some like elaborate little play here that you have going on while I'm being arrested. I understand I murdered someone. I get it. I did something despicable. I did something terrible. I deserve to go to prison. Do I deserve to be humiliated by you putting on some little play and show?
Yeah, because at this point we've got Jules behind a podium announcing Elsbeth, who is dressed as a debutante, and being announced as a debutante.
Lawyer. What did you say? Elsbeth of the Goldmans, Tassioni, lawyer, mother, can nap anywhere. I'm like, hey, give me that one too, because that's a good one for me too. So like we're just out here. Like there was a script involved in this like
it's like after that meeting with Jules, it was like at first like I didn't know what Jules' role was like going to be in this whole thing, but she was like, "I'm in, and let's script this out."
Like, Jules, girl, we're about to have some fun. Are you in or are you out? Like, your boss is a murderer, and we're gonna have a fun time bringing her down. Are you in? Because we got some script writing to do before we arrest Izzy. Well, first of all, I got to go get a fitting for a debutante dress.
Yeah,
that's number
please
one.
Hold.
Okay?
Number one. Number two, I need the tiara, and number three, I need the gloves.
Meanwhile, Detective Taylor, you handle the scripting and the blocking of the scene while I go get the dress. Like you're gonna come out after I present. Like this was so elaborate. Of like, all right, this is your cue. Like this is not a musical. This is not a play. We're arresting a murderer right now. This is going a little bit too far at this point in these elaborate reveals.
Yeah, and I think like I get the whole dress straps situation. So she really like starts off saying that like this is the thing that got me, right? Like this is the thing that is proving your motive here, because we can prove that you photoshopped the dress. The dress in the magazine had straps, and the one that was the picture that we had seen with her had a photoshopped strapless dress. And this like caused a lot of humiliation and everything, and this is the pressure that Izzy faced back in the day that affected the whole Sterling relationship.
Yeah, and so it's like she has PTSD from what Sterling did to
Yes.
her, which caused her like do things like Photoshop a different dress on herself in her personal
Yeah.
photo, which was
Somewhat.
a direct like tie of like, okay, you definitely did something weird because you took the time and the effort to Photoshop this new dress onto you for your personal photo, and it's so easily found in this old magazine that would like, okay, there's something going on here. Like again, Izzy is just she's pretty bad at this.
And also, like, I get that you had like personal humiliation, but then this woman decided to make it her life's mission to keep Sterling out of this ball. Like, what if Sterling never had kids? What if Sterling like did all this stuff? And she was just like, I'm going to keep this my little territory. This is where I'm at. Try to right the wrongs.
It's not as if like I get Izzy feeling like she needs to take control of the balls to, I don't know, change the balls, but she didn't really change the balls. She like if it'd be one thing if she's like, I'm going to make debutante balls more inclusive of, you know, people that can't afford debutante dresses or something like that. That would make her mission more like understandable. But she just came in and pretty much kept everything the same, and like is still like denying people access that are probably not part of the upper class. Like you would think, because Izzy was of someone that was not as high of a echelon. I'm not even like, did they really even explain how she even got into the debutante scene? Because apparently her family was not that well off. So it's like I could understand if she came in and was like, I'm going to right the wrongs and make people and not make people have these like expensive dresses. I'm gonna lower the bar of entry for people to get in. Like I could understand if she was that person that her experience made her like motivated to change the debutante ball scene or whatever, but that was not the case. Because like,
no, her only mission was to never let Sterling into this ball again, which is also like a weak mission in my opinion. Like, you're gonna do this, like she was doing this for like 50 years. Like she was doing this for quite some time.
Well, I think it's also kind of like what do they call it? Whatever therapy, exposure therapy. Like this is something that affected me, so I'm going to like dive deep into that world. I think that was also part of it. I don't think the whole Sterling of it all was her only motivation, but I think it was just like, I'm going to immerse myself into that culture.
She can be an important person in a different role in that environment. So like she's like the one that everyone comes to for questions. She's
taking her power back.
Exactly. The big tip off here though was the fact that Izzy signs her texts. Who signs their texts? I don't sign my texts, but Izzy does. Izzy signs them. Izzy, and in this one, she also signed it "Hot Mom" to Brando, and that was enough, I guess, to connect these two things.
Where I wonder why I'm gonna come in, Elsbeth. That you know that's not enough. I'm gonna need some more evidence. Like we didn't get that moment. Like,
we didn't get that. We didn't.
Yeah. I'm gonna need more than a text signature to actually arrest this woman. Okay, Elsbeth, I need you to get more. Get more, Elsbeth. Just like, okay, but she did get more, which also was not like super strong, but okay.
Yeah. The other evidence was the fact that the gloves that were burned were Jackie Onassis's Aunt Jackie.
Yeah.
Onassis gloves. They found pearls at the bottom of the ashes of the fireplace, and Izzy, as she's being, arrested, is just he called me half off before I killed him. He couldn't even remember my name.
I was like, okay, so great. We don't even need the evidence. You just confessed. Awesome. That's because that was a close call, because you probably would have been out on bail pretty soon if we didn't have that confession right there. Thank you so much for signing your own arrest certificate. Thank you. Woo, that was a good one. Thank you so much.
So that was the murder. That was the crime. We did have some other things happening in this episode, to which Jason has made his background on if you're watching the YouTube, that's what it refers to. It does not refer to me.
Is it? Is that what Marissa, I just write the message. Wait, if you're not watching the YouTube, it says
do you know what my life is right now? Do you know what it is? You know what it is.
If you're not watching, it says be better, Marissa G. Now you can read into that wherever you like, whether it's Marissa Gold and my co-host just so happens to be named Marissa Garza as well. So I just write the messages, Marissa. I don't give the
they just interpretation. They're like a divine. You're just the vessel for these
I don't explain the messages. They're just up there. You read into them as whatever you will. Okay. Be better, Marissa G can mean whatever you want it to mean. You gotta look inside yourself to see what it means to you. I'm just saying, I'm not gonna explain. I'm not, what it could be whatever. I'm just saying.
Well, let me add that to my therapy list and see what comes up.
That's your business. Not, I mean, you read into whatever you want.
We did have some action here with the Alec campaign thing. So the smear campaign is still going on. We did have a confrontation between Elsbeth and Winnie out on the street, because Elsbeth is like, you misrepresented me. Like, you took my words and you twisted them. And Winnie's like, nah, did I though? I mean, you don't trust him. I could see in your eyes that you don't trust him. So I just was doing right by you.
She's like, it's really the vibe you're given. It's not. It wasn't. It was what you. It was just a vibe. Yeah. You were questioning. I could tell. So I took that and ran with it.
Yeah, and Elsbeth is like, well, I gave you all this information about Milton. You can give me all this information about Alec. And Winnie's like, you told me stuff I knew.
Like, she's like, I mean, it doesn't really count because, like, yeah, you told me my husband was a murderer, but I kind of thought he probably was. So, like, that doesn't count. Like, yes, it does. It counts. She gave you evidence that you destroyed. Like, she helped you out. Can't you help her out in return? Come on.
Well, but Winnie is really invested in this New York structure, which we are seeing with the debutante ball, which, if you watch the Gilded Age, is a whole thing. Like the old money argument is still alive and well in New York society. So Elsbeth wants any proof that Winnie has that Alec is not who he says he is, and Winnie says to Elsbeth, "You know in your heart what Alec is." I mean, they're not that close. They're not that close. Like, do you know? I don't know.
I mean, I don't even need to know what's in my heart. I know what I saw, which is him lying about watching ET.
And the only person, because we don't have Kaya, the only person that she can talk to is Wagner. And so Elsbeth goes to talk to him about the Alec stuff. He's feeling like conflicted. And Wagner does give good advice, which I think Kaya would give in this instance too, is just like, trust yourself. Trust yourself here.
You just gotta trust yourself, Elsbeth. Just trust what you know is right.
I might have to have you record some like pep talks for the peeps.
That'd be fun.
Later, Alec goes to Elsbeth and is venting about this ad. She stops him and is like, look, I know that Winnie has dirt on you, and either you can own up to this whole situation about not being unhoused and only be unhoused for 2 days. You can do that, or I'm going to do it.
Yeah. You either go down now or you go down later.
Yeah.
And not the good type of going down either.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do you think that
let me just sweat past that? You're like, let's talk about something else now.
Well, I don't know. You know what he's saying. Yeah. Like, what else do you want me to say?
I don't want you to say anything about it.
Okay. So anyway, Elspeth, do we think though that Elsbeth, like, what would Elsbeth do? Would she have a press conference? Like, how would she tell the people? How would this get out? Like, I really do think she will do this. I think this is something that we're going to end up seeing. Even though Alec is like spinning the heck out of this, right? He's like, my 2 days of not being with my parents really made me want to become a public servant and make the housing better and all of this stuff. He meant no harm, which, just again, for reminders, especially white people, impact over intent. Okay. The impact of this is that he is lying to a bunch of people about his story. The intent doesn't matter.
Yeah. Cause I mean, he really tries, like, oh, I mean, like, like, what? I was unhoused. Okay. For like 3 days. Like, had a fight with my parents and ran away and slept on the streets for like a few nights. So technically you can say at one point in time I was unhoused. Like, okay, Alec, okay. Like, we see what you're about. And yeah, he really is like, but but that helped me though. Like that made me understand the plight of the unhoused. And like, you stop digging the hole, because you're in too deep already. Just quit while you're behind at this point. Come on. Ugh.
Yeah. But I do think we will get this scene at some point. I do think Elsbeth is going to have to be the one. I don't know. We'll see what happens in the next episode, which we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, I don't know if he really like drove home the point of, like, she's like, listen, you tell them, or I will. I will tell them. And we still didn't, like, she still confirmed, like, yeah. And what about ET? Alec. What about ET? Like, you know, like, you remember that? That was a lie I caught you in. So what was your excuse for that lie? Because like Alec is spinning this one lie of like, oh, it was just this one lie that would help me in the race. But what about ET? Why are you just lying about movies you've watched? That doesn't make any sense.
And
are you just
so
a pathological
naturally,
liar? Yeah, exactly. So I wish you would have confronted him about that in that moment as well.
Agreed. So after this conversation, Alec is like a changed man or whatever, like he's scared or something. And it's so much to get Marissa Gold back on our TV screens. Like, she hasn't been here this entire time.
She came running into Elsbeth's office like, oh my God, is that Marissa? Marissa's here. Oh, okay. Like, it was like, this is like the end of the episode. I'm like, oh my God, she's just showed up.
Yeah,
randomly.
but she's, as they say on Survivor, she's pissed.
I'm pissed.
She it's basically like, listen, this is messed up what you're doing here. Like, why is he like this? And Elsbeth tells Marissa, like, I issued an ultimatum. And Marissa is like, this is about the people of New York City. Like, this is not about you. And also, how could you say this when you are someone who represented Peter Florek in Chicago?
I was like,
and she's out. Like, she's out. Like, but what is so confusing about, first of all, Peter will always be bad. Second of all, what happened to, you're the only one who can save New York, and we need to team up. Like, where did that go? What is happening?
I think Marissa was genuine, saying like, I need you and your good PR to be with Alec so that people want to vote for him. Like, Marissa is hardcore in the Alec. Yeah, like, we dreamed up this scenario of like, Marissa knows Alec is bad and she's gonna enlist Elsbeth to help bring Alec down. It's like, no, that was not the case at all. That was like, we were so wrong in that theory. Like, Marissa is backing Alec 100%, and like, she's doing her best, Eli Gold impression. She's like, I don't care what he did, we need to get him elected. Like, she at least, like, Eli Gold would do things for money. Marissa at least has, again, intent over impact. And Marissa at least has good intentions because she believes in Alec, even though he's a liar. She believes in his, like.
Well, I think she knows lying comes with the territory in this world.
Yeah, she's excusing it as like part of politics. She's like, that's not even a big deal, Elsbeth. Like, who cares if he was only on house for like 2 days? His intent is good here. It's like, okay, but would the intent be recognized if people knew of his lies? Like, no, it would not be good. And so she's putting this on Elsbeth, like, what did you do to him? He's nowhere to be found. He's missing events. Like, what's going on? Elsbeth's like, girl, he's lying, and people need to know. And yeah, like, and I loved how she like turned the table. And she's like, listen, you can't be talking because you defended Peter Florek. Like, ooh, good wife callback. Let's go. We love good wife callbacks. And yeah, but I think Elsbeth would tell you, I think she's even said it a few times in the show, I'm a different person than I was then. Like,
yes, I know.
I have different morals and ethics. I'm more aware of things. Like, Elsbeth is a pure do-gooder now. But yeah, I loved how Marissa like used their past against her to be like, all right, yeah, well, F you. You're not as goody two-shoes as you think you are because you helped get the awful person as Peter Florek out of jail. So bam, bye. It's like, Marissa was in here for like 3 minutes of screen time. It was well worth it for sure.
It was. And I guess you're right. I'm still struggling with the show a little bit and really kind of wanting some sort of action like that, like some sort of team up, some sort of takedown, some sort of something that kind of gives it a little bit more oomph. Other than,
yeah, and I think for you, who is a fan of all Marissas that spell their name with 2 S's, yes. I think you really want Marissa to be of the utmost good, and this is Marissa in a little bit of a shade of gray here. I would say
she'll snap out of it. I have faith in her.
She's got to do the right thing at the end. Like, that's what we have to hope for, is that she comes to her senses. Like, you're right, Elsbeth. Let's expose the truth. I don't know if we're gonna get that, but that's what you really want out of your Marissa character here. Someone that we loved on The Good Wife, that always seems to be on the side of right. Now it's like a little bit, ooh, are you going a little bit too much over to your dad's side of the things?
And I'd be okay with if there's a conversation, which I know we won't get, we won't get a conversation about how this character turned into this character. You know what I mean? What made her move in this way. Unless the Kings want to tell us, unless they want to come on and explain what happened with Marissa, what got her to be so cynical and go into politics. Like, I would love to
ready.
know.
We're ready for you guys.
Yes. At the end of this episode, we do see Wagner comes in as if he had like premonition. It's just like, hey, just you want to turn on the TV? She's like, okay. And Elsbeth turns on the TV and they're setting up a press conference for Alec. Alec, it's an empty podium at this point. We've just got the banner across the bottom saying, press conference from Alec, basically. And we do not know what's going to happen. Is he going to tell the truth? Is he going to lean in harder? Is he going to drop out of the race? Like, where are we? What is happening? Do we even think he'll show up? There's so many questions.
Well, he's there at the end. We just don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I really do think this is going to set up for a Winnie Cooper. Not Winnie Cooper. Winnie Crawford. I think this is setting the stage for Winnie Crawford to be mayor and cause our heroes some strife in season 4. I'm really feeling that at this point. What do we think Alec's going to do in the next episode?
Drop out.
If he's going to drop out next episode? Yeah, I mean, why else would he be calling a press conference?
Unless he okay, so the press conference options are, hey, I lied about being unhoused and I'm still committed to making it better for New Yorkers, or I hear someone who can prove that I was unhoused. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, okay, that would be interesting. Do you think he could admit to the lie and still run for mayor and maybe get Elsbeth to help him like run for mayor still? Like, hey, like I know you're right. I need
together.
I don't know. Not even still together, but like, hey, Elsbeth, I know you are right. I want to do things a better way. Can you help me do this? Like, can you help? Like, because I don't know. We have 5 episodes left.
I know.
I don't know if it's going to be as cut and dry as like I'm dropping out of the race. What are we going to do for the next 5 episodes if that's the case? Unless it's in that moment that Winnie Crawford, says, "Hey, I'm running for mayor." Like I always envisioned like in the last like second of the season that it's going to be like Alec's out as mayor, like we found his lies, boom boom, and then it's like now Winnie Crawford is projected to be throwing her hat in the ring and she's got a lot of support behind her, and then the season premiere, season 4 is like Winnie Crawford, new mayor of New York, and then she's going to use her resources to like cut funding to the precinct, maybe get somebody fired, get Elsbeth. Maybe Elsbeth is going to be fired for like the first few episodes of season 4.
What if
that would be truly interesting.
What if Wagner is fired?
Yeah, something to shake up the status quo, because that's really what we need is a shake up the status quo. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I've always been envisioning. Like I really think some sort of way Winnie Crawford's going to be mayor next season.
You've been envisioning it in your mind's eye, behind your eyes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Marissa. You can't do that.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm sure it's great.
Yeah, I'm sure the world you're painting is so good. I just can't see
I'm sure it's so vivid. I'm sure it's fantastic. But we shall see. We shall see what happens. I hear your point. We do have 5 episodes, so something can't be as cut and dry as like I'm leaving. Mm-hmm. But also, like, it's also kind of hard to watch this. I don't know. Maybe I have to just enjoy the TV show. But it is kind of hard to watch in 2026 when, like, is this the lie that could take down a candidate?
Yeah, no. Definitely not. If this is real life, everybody would be in an uproar for 2 days, and then something else would happen, and we would forget all about it. He'd still run for mayor. Yeah. He'd still probably get elected. So yeah, I mean, it does unfortunately remind you of like some things going on today in our political landscape.
Unless they use it as a way to make commentary on that, I do need a shake up sometime soon. Probably we'll have to wait till season 4, but it would be good to get that sometime soon.
Yeah, I also think if it's the case I'm suggesting, like that, he drops out eventually, Winnie Crawford comes in. I think it is the egg on Elsbeth's face that we don't get a lot. Where it's just like, hey, look what I did, guys. I got this liar out of office. And it's like, ooh, I brought a bigger evil in Winnie Crawford into
It's
office.
kind of like members of cabinet have been fired. We'll wait and see what happens with other members of the cabinet.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what they did a good job of cliffhanging what this was. I'm excited to watch the next episode and see what the case really is here. So they've done their job, at least in getting me pumped for the next episode. Just don't let me down. Just don't let me down next episode.
I think we do not have to wait 3 weeks to watch the next one.
Yeah, thank goodness. Next episode is going to should be here next week. I hope. I think. Yes. I haven't checked, but I hope so.
Yeah, April 9th. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Right.
Yeah. So that's the episode, guys. Marissa, do you want to tell everybody where they can find you and what you're up to on the interwebs these days?
Sure. You can find me at itsmemarissag.com.
Yeah.
I forgot for a moment. I was like, .com? Yeah. It's memarissag.com, where you can find links to all of the podcasts that I'm on. As Jason mentioned at the top of the show, an free and easy way for you to support us is by watching us on YouTube. If you'd like to like and subscribe to us over there, that would be great. If you're just a fan of Elsbeth, that really is kind of the place to be because it has its own dedicated feed. If you're just a fan of The Good Wife, it also has its dedicated feed, but we do hope you enjoy all of our shows, which you can find both on YouTube and in your podcast feed of choice. You can also find me on Whirlwind Podcasts, talking about Pretty Little Liars, one previously on at a time, or going through the final frontier of space, which, hey, space, guys, space, back in the news. We're there. We're doing stuff. We're going around the moon. Me and my sister podcast about Star Trek The Next Generation over on USS Sisterhood. So you can find links to all of those at itsmemarissag.com. Jason, I know you've got much more mess to talk about than I do. So what's going on with you?
Me and Asia Welch are over on the Raw Pass Podcast Network wrapping up Age of Attraction. It's the show where it's like, oh my God, people are dating people much younger / older than they are. What mess will ensue? And there is mess. We've covered the reunion and the finale all in one podcast. So if that's something that you watched and enjoyed, come check that out. Me and Asia are also talking about the show Married at First Sight over on our Patreon, a Perfect Match Podcast. Just go to the Perfect Match, go to Patreon, put in a Perfect Match Podcast, and join up. We have whole season rewatches. We're wrapping up season 10 right now, one of the best seasons of the show. We also have seasons 1 and 11 we did full rewatches for. We have rankings over there. So if you watched and enjoyed Married at First Sight, if you currently watch it now, that's the place to be. So that's where you can check me out. That's where you can check Marissa out. And that's it. Until next time.
And we're checking out.
And we're checking out this episode. Until next time, guys. Stay good.